folks, man. This is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classes of Cinematics. And I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo.
Yeah, man. And this is the show where we talk about the films that shaped and warped our childhoods. And today we got a special one here, folks, man. So this film is from 1998, and this is going to be The Faculty, directed by Robert Rodriguez. And stars Elijah Wood, we got Josh Hartnett, we got Clea Duvall, Jordana Brewster, Lori Harris, Usher Raymond, Becky Jensen, Shawn Hatosy, Jon Stewart. I didn't recognize the picture.
He looks completely different than that. Yes.
Salma Hayek, Robert Patrick, Bebe Neuwirth, Piper Laurie, Daniel Von Bargen, Danny Masterson. Oh, he's in trouble lately, yo. Danny Masterson. I remember that. Christopher McDonald, Harry Knowles, Dwayne Martin. There's all kinds of like cameos and extra people popping up in this, man. So, and the story is this, man. This is going to be, I would classify this, what do you think? It's like a thriller, horror,
thriller slash like sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, definitely. So to the students at Harrington High, the principal and her posse of teachers have always been a little odd, but lately they've been behaving positively alien. Controlled by otherworldly parasites, the faculty try to infect students one by one. The cheerleader Delilah, the football player Stan, drug dealer Zeke, and new girl Marybeth team up with some of their other classmates to fight back against the invaders. Yeah. So, what do you think about this film, man? What do you like?
I mean, for starters, can't talk about this film without talking about this cast. I mean, like, these are like certifiable, like A-listers, household names. Some of them now in today's terms. I mean, especially like Elijah Wood. I think where his career is now from where it was in 1998 when this first came out. Yeah. And his character in this, he did a nice amount of the heavy lifting. You know what I'm saying? I feel, and also with what you get from just all the cast, it even felt like the supporting roles, like what you would get from like Robert Patrick. I think that his role, he was the ultimate creeper, dude. Like when it first starts off, I mean, he's just an asshole coach. Yes, and that's the thing too. This film is but I like you got those new people like Elijah who are going to be great, but then they're buffered by certified veterans like Robert Patrick or Salma Hayek, even like Frankie Jensen, Jon Stewart. I mean, and Robert Patrick, his character, what we get from him as the football coach, even though he comes off, you can tell he's probably not the most pleasant person to be around, but he's passionate, he's emotional. And within the first, couple minutes of the film, you just see a complete tonal switch where now he's subdued. But that just, it adds to his like level of creepiness, especially
because I mean, I guess at that point it felt like the parasites got him, and and you notice that all the adults in here, they are a little weird because somehow it seems to take off the emotion. They try to fake it.
Yes,
at times when they're confrontations, like when that scene with the police officer, Casey calls the cops, and the cops are like, yeah, what are you talking about, kid? And they're all there, and they're trying to, even when they're trying to reflect emotion, it feels fake.
It does.
So, and I think that's a cool touch to kind of help a little bit, get an idea of who's infected or not.
Of what we're dealing with. And, and just to that point, I mean, this story, I think it hits great, but it plays big homage to Invasion of the Body Snatchers as far as, just the subject matter and the way that it's delivered. But the cool thing about this one is it's a different approach, whereas in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it's all, in this town and, it's a little more widespread, where this is contained. This is taking place at the high school. And it also, the parasite has the wherewithal to know before you get to the kids, you get to the adults, get to the authority figures, and then it's easy because the kids, in essence, in this, they're the sheep.
Then they gotta,
you got to get the herders before you get the sheep.
Yeah, then they gotta fall in line.
And that's another thing that I really love about this film. I love the setting. I love the atmosphere. Something about films that take place in a high school setting you know, you
get that immediate nostalgia boost because I think everyone, at least most Americans, have been through this experience, so it's automatically it's pulling on memories, so that piques interest in a lot of ways, man.
Yes, you know? and then also, I mean, dude, you never know which way it's going to go. There are so many different angles. I mean, you think, just yourself, myself, you as a viewer, how many movies you've seen in a high school setting, in which direction they went. I mean, they can go any which way, from funny to serious to horror. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And this one, it sets the bar and it hurdles it, I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're basically putting, like, we've seen slashers in high schools. We've seen action movies taking place in high school. I remember they would try to do those weird hybrids, back in the day.
We've seen Ghosts.
Kindergarten Cop kind of shit.
Yes.
And ghosts and haunting. So you put Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Thing, some zombie stuff, all in the school setting, because it's drawing from all of these kind of things,
Yes, and what the setting does also is it enhances the understanding of the mindset of the characters. I mean, this just, we never lose sight of the fact that these are teenage kids that are trying to save the world.
Yeah, that makes it entertaining.
Yes.
Man. Even if you're not a fan of this type of fare, but you might watch something like what's the Archie show? You might watch something like that.
Riverdale
on the CW, because it has those things. I mean, you've got the hierarchy of the school, you've got bullies bullying some of the characters, you got the nerd outcasts, and all of these things. You got the jocks, and they're all that stuff's there as well as this crazy alien invasion plot as well,
Yes, exactly. And then to your point, like, it also it gives us, like you said, all different phases of things that happen in high school. The people that are getting bullied, how they're feeling. And Elijah Wood's character, I mean, dude, when we first meet him, I mean, he gets pushed down, and then you see like 4 people pick him up and start ramming him into a light post from his undercarriage. Yeah. I don't even want to imagine what that feels like.
He's not having a good time.
You know what I'm saying? and then all the stuff that comes with being a high school athlete. You know what I'm saying? All the pressures. I mean, you got Usher, who's just completely like, he's all in. He's like, yeah, man, this is great. I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be clotheslining people later on in the film, on the field. It's gonna be great. You got the other guy who's got it all. Quarterback, starting, and he don't even want to play. He's like, man, I'd rather I want to get my face in the books now. I've decided in my last year of school that,
you take this seriously.
I'm
probably not going to go to the NFL. Y'all slicing it because y'all want a state championship, but really, I ain't.
And it's cool because that's also, it brings us in, from the outside looking in, the kinds of things that can go on in these small towns, like in areas like pocket areas of Texas, or where where all they have is this.
It feels fully realized that aspect of it.
Yeah.
They definitely took it, and I think that would helps make it work because like I said, man, when things are happening on as far as the alien plotline, then there's the school shit that could you could kill some time with that. I do like the story in general, man, because it's wild. It's weird because we don't really see it fully from the beginning. We kind of catch these teachers, in the act of being like, yo, what the hell's going on here? Like, one of the students walks in, backtrack to another scene where we find one of these little alien creature things.
Yeah, little Elijah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He finds that and he starts looking at it like, what is this? This ain't nothing that's known, you know what I'm saying? And then the plot goes deeper. You realize that, like you said, it started with the teachers. There's a host alien queen, and the teachers have been, getting each other infected. Then they start getting the students in. Oh, we need to do a ear check, the nurse, and all that crazy stuff. But I just like how it unfolds, man. We get all those creepy elements, and it gives us some time for some great atmospherics, especially the scenes when some of the characters are being stalked by the faculty to get infected, and you're like, yo, this is top grade suspense, horror, thriller kind of stuff. Slasher film territory.
And it's cool because when they're doing the stalking, minus the very end, they're always stalking them in human form. That's what I'm saying. Like Robert Patrick, when he gets all wide-eyed and starts chasing after people and looking all weird, I'm like, dude, you just look creepy as a regular person. At this point, we don't know that he's infected. We're just like, dog, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's cool, man, because that too, man. I like that element because all the kids are the first ones to know, and they're trying to tell the adults, and it's that thing that that trope of oh, I don't believe you, kid. Oh, you're bugging. What little green man? What? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Gremlins or something like that.
Yeah.
You got to deal with that. So that adds to the suspense, man, because, you know, these kids, they end up, and essentially, they're being gaslit by all the adults, and they're being stalked by the teachers. Yo, they're showing up in the streets in front of these kids' homes.
Yes.
That's wild.
And then it's wild because it almost starts to give you that siege film kind of sense, because then as the students are starting to get infected, these are now like 5 kids. They're on the island of misfit toys. Dude. They're the only ones. They know more than everyone else, and they're not infected. So it's like, man, when you're walking through the hall, you got teachers gunning for you. You got other students looking at you. Everyone's trying to like, oh yeah, why don't you come hang out with us real quick? Like, remember when the 2 kids come up to Josh Hartnett's character, I want to say Zeke, and you know he's peddling this little like substance in pens. It's supposed to emulate. So it's supposed to emulate like Coke, but it's pretty much just like caffeine pills crushed down, and you know what I'm saying. He's just revving people up for the low, and they're paying high price for it. You know, all that stuff. Wow. But whatever. You know, but the thing of it is that since this parasite is a water-based parasite, and you know caffeine pills are diuretic, it dries it out, and so we figure that out when John Stewart, his character, actually gets stabbed in the pen just off the defense mechanism. You know, like, oh man, the only thing I got, I'm stab you with the pen, and then it starts bubbling up like, you know, if you spray peroxide in a cut or something, and they figure out, you know, what's going on with that. Funny thing about that too. First couple minutes in the film, when they're in the teacher's lounge, John Stewart has a conversation with Salma Hayek, and she's all sick, and he's like, why don't you just use a day off? And she's like, I'm saving my sick days for when I feel better. And he was like, that makes no sense to me. I'd rather just stick a pen in my eye. And then later on, that's how he dies. So it's like, those are the little kind of things that you'll catch on rewatching this film. Like, oh man, that's what's up. But yeah, so, you know, with this whole dynamic of like, it's almost like the world against these kids. You start to feel that pressure that's on their shoulders. And like I said, it builds the suspense. But another thing that really worked for me on the suspense tip was the music. There was a lot of good music through this film. I think
that's Marco Beltrami who did the score for this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, not for nothing, when they show that football scene, like it's messed up because it's kind of like a juiced horse, because all these kids, they're all parasited up, and I mean they're flexing this other team, man. But then they play this cover version of Pink Floyd's The Wall, Another Brick in the Wall, and like when you listen to the song and what they're saying in that song, and then the way it just kind of follows everything that's going on with the plot line in this film, it was really cool. You know what I'm saying? That was a great choice. To insert that song as well. But yeah, these scores and stuff, I mean, the way they just build the tension and everything just really helped intensify the scenes for me as well, which that doesn't always happen. Sometimes they miss the mark. Sometimes you want to turn the volume down.
He's got some of my favorite movies that he's done. What's his name again? Beltrami, Marco Beltrami. Recently, Love and Monsters, he did the Fear Street series, all 3 of those. Blade, 2, Ford vs. Ferrari, Mimic. You know what I'm saying? He's got a long thing
nice
of
catalog.
Robot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he's got a long list of great films that he scored, man. Yeah. But also, I love the creatures, man. They did a good job. It's a weird combination, because it's a combination of practical and digital effects. Especially that effect where we see where looks like the parasites are crawling under the skin.
Yes, under the skin.
That looks good.
Another one was like after the football game and all the players are standing in the rain, the lightning crashes, and you look at Robert Patrick, and when the lightning strikes, you see the parasite's face under, but then when it gets dark, you see his face, and they got like the little little worm things on it, dude. Yes,
there was a dope scene too, like where the chick who's infected with the queen, and you see at the end she's walking through the locker room, and I think she's like naked.
Dude, she's naked.
The way they got it lit,
the shadow
is dark, but you really can't see. You know, they doing tricks with the camera, but her shadow is all the tentacles.
Yes, but you see her, and she's just this little skinny chick walking, butterball naked. Yeah, so it's like, man, that was very cool. Like
that's a cool shot.
Yes,
but also like even the little parasites, when they got it on the lab and they're messing with it, like it's got some really great effects, man. Really great. Even the kill scenes get a little creative, like when when he jabs her dude in the eye. You know what I'm saying?
That was
Jon
cool.
Stewart,
Yes, and then it was, and and it's funny when we talk about the that little substance, because they do that one scene where they all got to test each other to see, and that was paying big homage to The Thing. Like they said, they quoted, they said, man, we got that straight from The Thing. And on that same note, when I think her name's Frankie Jensen. Famke Jensen. When her character first gets, she's trying to take out Zeke and gets in the car wreck, gets decapitated, and then her head starts crawling back to the body. That was another, testament to The Thing. And like I said, it looks good visually, even though we can tell it's CG. This was still when CGs were fairly early, so
it's still early in the game.
They did still look a little more like computerized, a little more digital, but
they did take the time. The final boss, the close-ups, that's like a real live animatronic, creature that they built, man, like a really big one, man. So like the Queen Alien type stuff. Like they must have took some notes from that, because it like structurally didn't look the same. But there were certain elements that really kind of hit the same notes, like the way they made it look like wet and dripping it's got
and drooling.
Two forms, don't it? Like there's that form, and then there's like a bigger one in the pool scene, right?
Because they seem to they get enhanced in the water. Like in the water, they can do more. Water, you know what I'm saying?
Absorb. They kind of.
And it's also cool how their face comes out, because it kind of looks like the front of just almost like an astronaut shield. But then when they remove that, it's like a shield comes out, then a face, and then another little face, and it gets kind of like almost what we would see from the actual alien, the symbiote, mixed with a little bit of the predator mouth going on. Which I thought that was really cool, structurally and creativity wise to come up with that. Yeah,
it definitely has several forms, man. They did a great job, especially the big version. It's just it just gets even more crazier, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I love this thing, man. It holds up, a lot of the effects and the story itself, remains interesting,
The one thing, one other point I'd like to make is just the rewatchability carries heavy with this. This is fun, just as much fun as the first time I saw it, as it was, when I watched it last night or the night before with my daughter. That was her first experience, and she was like, "Man, Daddy, that movie was good." And I was like, "I know, told you."
It's one of those ones, even though you know what happened, what the mystery is, it's still fun to watch it go through the motions. And not a lot of films do that, man. There's a lot of things I saw that I considered great, but when it's time, I don't really want to sit through this again.
Exactly.
I know what happened.
Yes. You're absolutely right. And this film, to those who haven't seen it, go watch it, because there are some really cool plot twists that go on. But like you said, to your point, man, even if you know what's happening, then you can just focus on the other intricacies of this film, the other cool things that it brings to the table, and little things that you might not pick up the first time around. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing with Jon Stewart dropping the I'll stab myself in the eye thing. I didn't catch that. My daughter pointed that out to me. She was like, "Daddy, did you hear that?" You know what I'm saying? And that was during the second watch, because she watched it with me both times. I was like, "Man, that's what's up." So it definitely carries a high level of rewatchability. Still holds up. Still looks good. As far as the special effects. So, I strongly suggest watch it again, man, if you ain't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I definitely love this one, man. I recommend it too, man. But I don't know. I guess that's it, man. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we come in short like that. We get to our points. But, it is what it is, man. We're going to be back soon with more classes of cinematics. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And go watch The Faculty, man. And this has been Monk. You can catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram. And follow Classes of Cinematics on Instagram.
And this is Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me at Bobby Blockbuster 118 on Instagram. And, don't be afraid to be cool, man. Get some of the merch, man. You know what I'm saying? Support the cause.
Support the cause, man. Definitely. All right, folks. Peace.